I get sent some pretty awesome gear, but it doesn't always fall into a specific category. So this video is going to include a lot of different items from different makers, things I purchased, things that were sent to me, and well, let's just go ahead and start talking about it. I'm going to kick things off with JRW. Now, JRW sent me a bunch of really great gear, and I want to say a big thank you to them. This was very, very kind. So it starts with this incredible assembly tray. So it's designed to kind of keep everything in order. He has inserts that allow it to be further separated into a smaller component. So if you're taking apart knives or multi-tools or other items, this tray is really, really cool. It even has like little slots for handles so you can lift the whole thing up and move it around without accidentally spilling it. So I like the way they have set this up. It's a very, very cool tray. Laser cut, I believe, and made here in the US. They also sent this, which is sort of a rubberized injection molded tray for you to put your gear in, and it kind of distributes it in a nice way, and geometrically is very, very satisfying. So I really, really like this. JRW is an incredibly popular maker. He makes coins, he makes keychain organizers and so on that look like paper clips, and some other gear like this here as well. So I'll leave a link to his website so you can find everything. It is very, very, very cool indeed. So we'll use this tray to kind of present some of this new gear, starting with a knife from JRW. So this small little knife, which also has I believe a leather carrier as well, is made in MagnaCut blade steel and is just a really small, like, draw cutting knife. I don't know what more to say about it. It is not going to be for me in particular because I like a proper handle on my knife, and if I wanted something this small, I probably would end up with a utility knife of some sort. And speaking of which, I would love to see them make their own high-end utility knife. That would be really slick. But there are also a lot of people who would be interested in this specifically. So I will leave a link to this as well. This is made in the USA. And yeah, just another really nice offering and very, very slim. So one thing I will say is if you want something low key or just like low impact to your carry, definitely check out one of these. It'll definitely be worth the look. All right, so moving on from those, we have some items from some other companies here as well. I have reviewed this Metmo ratcheting screwdriver a while back, and mostly it was just a novelty. I mean, look at how big this thing is. This thing weighs a ton. It does provide a lot of torque if you needed it, but otherwise was pretty silly. They released a much, and I mean much smaller version of this same tool, and I will tell you, this thing, well, okay, it goes from being novel to potentially being worth a consideration for a lot of different reasons. You get to use the ratchet while also having it in this closed position, so you have an inline grip. It has the ability to be used with high torque, which I really like as well. And then to cap it all off, something that the large one didn't even have, which is if you unscrew the back, you have storage for additional bits. So overall, this actually feels practical to me. And as somebody who likes mechanical oddities, I really appreciate this exposed ratcheting system that they have. And you can really see just how large all these components are. So it's not going to be the most precise ratchet because you can see how few teeth there actually are. But all these teeth are very, very, very strong. So there's going to be a lot of torque you can apply with this without having to worry. And it's very easy to swap between left and right or just locked in place. Very cool. I actually really like this. It's light enough. In fact, let me get my scale out. Where did I put my scale? Oh, here it is. Let me get my scale out and let's take a look at what it weighs in ounces. It's going to be about 4 ounces, which is, well, let me put it this way. Where's the big one? Here we go. Check this out. That's 14 ounces. That's more than 3 times as heavy. That's crazy. All right, let me go back to grams here. We have 118 grams. 119 grams, give or take. That's actually small enough to throw in a pocket, genuinely. I actually like this system much better than I thought I would. Very, very, very cool. Definitely going to be a fun piece to use, and I will actually get a bit of use out of it in the disassembly portion, because a lot of times when I go to high torque, I find myself using the fix-it sticks, but they can't seamlessly convert to an inline driver at the same time, where this can actually do that. So I actually kind of like the form factor and what I get from this. It's not going to carry as many bits, obviously. You got 2 in the handle, and of course you could leave 1 in the front, whereas this has 8. It actually has 16 total when you have the other attachment. But I actually really like the versatility, and of course being ratcheting gives it its own advantages. So, not to mention being a kind of fun fidget toy. All right. Really cool tray. One thing I didn't mention about the tray is it comes with a little Sharpie and ability to kind of make marks. So if you're trying to reassemble something that is complicated, you can kind of identify what's going on. So if you forget, it's going to be right there. That's actually kind of a neat little addition. There's little Velcro squares for those little patches that people like, including the one from them. Pretty cool, like that. All right. The tray, very, very neat, but also really neat are these new 4mm pencil or pen-sized screwdrivers. Now, what is great about these is that they are quite a bit narrower than most of the screwdrivers you find on Amazon and other places, and inside they have this really well organized double-sided bits. So 6 double-sided bits on this, and the end rotates. So for this one, it actually spins, so it's free floating, which is very, very nice. It still has enough grip, so you can put some torque on it, not as much as you might need if there's a stubborn screw, but overall, very, very cool. And both of these screwdrivers, which they're just 2 variations with a different set of bits, they come in under $10. Really, really, really cool. Now, this is the first one I found. It actually screws in instead of having a rotating end, so it's already worse than the other 2, and it doesn't have the grooves that are a little bit better for grip. So I will post this one as well and a link to it, and maybe if it's really cheap, it's worth it. But overall, I would say that these 2 screwdrivers from STREBITO are fantastic. They are absolutely fantastic. I can highly recommend them. They are going to be able to store all 6 bits inside, so you can carry them with you. They work just like carrying a pen. I think that's absolutely fantastic. And I compared it to the new Hoto version of the driver, which does have a rotating end, but only has 2 total bits, plus a little, what do they call it? Like a metal writing pencil. Overall, not my favorite, so something to point out, but these other 3, they're all really, really solid and definitely worth looking at. And on the tray, check this out. Those are supposed to be pen slots, but this thing can actually fit all of those screwdrivers, so I can have those set up in there just like so. I really, really like that. It even fits this little 3D printed bolt action pen. Like all of these things. So really, really good work from JRW. Some really cool new products. This is not a new product. This is from Teal Designs, and they are very hard to find, but it is a great tool for this kind of setup too, because it can use for prying. I think these little holes, which are normally designed for USB carriers, I think I might also put those little plastic prying tools in here, because sometimes when you want to separate things, you don't want to mar them. So having a little plastic pry for electronics would actually be a really good place to put that in. Right now I just have a little Klein Heritage safety scissor in there. I'm still playing around with it. I might actually buy the inserts for it because it is a really, really nice tray. But I'm curious to hear from you guys. Do you even use something like this, or is it just seem a little silly to you? Let me know down in the comments. As always, I want to say thank you so much for your time, and we'll talk again soon.